We are back with Colin Harris. Colin, was one of the harshest lessons you learned during this process?
Um, I wouldn't say it was harsh. I would say one of the most important lessons I've learned is that I figured pretty early that filmmaking is if I had to narrow it down to a single statement, I would say filmmaking is problem solving. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And you kind of have to trust in yourself that, okay, it's a problem and that's what it is, a problem. And you have to figure out ways to solve it. And in many aspects, you don't have to solve it immediately. For instance, you might shoot a scene that just didn't work, which happened. And sometimes just walking away from it, you film it, walk away from it, and give it some time to think about it. And in my situation, when I did that, you come up with different solutions to how to either fix that scene or make it better. That actually happened on several occasions. So, but when you go on set, like I said earlier, you run into rain. So you have to accept the fact that reality is going to kick in once you get out there. Also, you can have issues that you have to work out. You're going to grow up real quick. You have to deal with different personalities, dealing with different actors, and realizing that you're all a team and you have a mission to get this film done, and you have to trust in each other. And then you're going to realize that, okay, I'm shooting today, and regardless what everybody said, no plane's gonna fly here. I had situations when I was told, oh, planes don't fly over here. It never does. But it did the day I filmed. So like I said, there's always gonna be a problem that you're not prepared for. And you just have to keep in mind that, okay, it's a problem, deal with it. You're gonna make it and move forward.
So you would say that, or would you say that your experience in the Air Force, a lot of your experiences helped to prepare you for managing this or producing this film?
I would say so. And I would say the respect aspect of it. Once you people coming in and you respect their craft and you understand that, okay, there are some things in life that you cannot control, but that doesn't mean you're going to ignore it. You have to figure out ways to deal with it. So I would say the Air Force has prepared me in a way that there's things going to be thrown at you that you're just going to have to deal with it. And crying about it is not going to solve it. And you're just going to have to either decide if you're going to deal with it today, and not all problems you can solve immediately, or you're going to deal with it another day, which is perfectly fine once it works within your game plan.
Would you say your childhood experiences in Guyana influenced the way you approach this film in any way?
I would say it approaches my childhood experience. I would credit Guyana, the way I was brought up, and a lot of Guyanese. I can't just say it's me. A lot of Guyanese, we were brought up differently, and we can credit our parents for that. So I would never say the film alone. I have accomplished a lot just solely because of how I was raised. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm a career student. I'm still in school. I'm going for my doctorate. And that is because of values instilled in me when I was young, you know. And even today, my mom still treats me, she still talks to me today and give me the same encouragement she did when I was, you know, in high school, you know. Just keep going, you know, I'm proud of you, just move forward. And same thing with my daughter and same thing with my wife and my siblings. They encourage us, they encourage me all the time. We try to do the same for each other, you know. Whatever your dream is, you just move forward, keep working at it. You know, it's not gonna happen today or immediately, but if you keep working at it, eventually it's gonna happen. So I know a lot of Guyanese out there share the same values. So I can't really, it's not something I can own personally, but I see a lot of my friends around me have the same values, Guyanese friends.
Colin, I happen to know your sister Claudia very well. Was an amazing, amazing person, always looking to give back and to honor others. You mentioned your mother, you mentioned your daughter and your wife. So I'm compelled to ask you, how have the women in your life helped to shape the man you have become
Well, number one, for my, I can speak for my sister. My sister is she's older than me, so I look to her as also in the same aspect I looked as my mother. She had that same parental, and it's not just for me, over my other brothers too. The same things I would go to my mom with is the same issues and problems and support I would go to my sister for, because that's that's the level of respect I have for her, and that's how when I was raised, that's the kind of the role she played. Even when my mom came to the U.S. first, um, my sister took over that role of parent. So I have that same respect for my sister. And as a man, like even in my household right now, I'm the only male. So you actually see the value in. I have a lot of respect for females. Hold them on a very high regards, and that I can credit to being in the values instilled in me. And number one, the females around me just wouldn't put up with anything less. So
today?
I really don't have a choice. So and you know, like I actually, me and my daughter have this conversation. I actually consider myself in some aspect a feminist. I'm very strong with you know, feminine values and stuff. So not anything on the off the wall extreme, but I have a daughter. I have one child as a daughter, and you know, like I said, I'm in a household outnumbered, so it's just part of my life.
What was the hardest scene to film?
Um, the hardest scene to, I would say that there's some scenes that made me uncomfortable. Um, I had to, and the act, my main actress kind of made it easy for me. There was a sex scene in the film, and I struggled with it going forward because you know it's you don't know what to expect, and my main actress was a professional, which made it a lot easy. You know, kind of made it easy and calm and professional for to film, because going into those type of situations, you know, it can pretty much the unknown, fear of the unknown. So that's kind of one of the film.
You think you're going to continue directing, or are you going to hire a director going forward?
Moving forward, just because of the, the 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 road I just traveled, all the hard work, I already made a decision that I will not. I will definitely continue writing and I will continue directing. However, now keep in mind, for this film, I actually wrote, direct, produced, edited, um, song supervisor. So every aspect of this film, with the exception of doing the makeup artistry, I did.
Mm.
So that was a lot to take on.
How do you know when you have the right shot?
Oh, for me, I just know. I think it came naturally for me.
Uh-huh.
I can't really tell at what point in my progress and development I get to that point when you know you got with in the film business they call it money shot.
Mm.
I don't know where in my development I got that or developed that trait, but you just know, you know, when the actor or the actress um, really nailed it. So like I'm one of those directors, and any one of my actors, they would tell you I would keep going till the sun come up until I'm happy. So a lot of times I shoot and cut, edit, not cut, you know, action, cut, until I get a shot.
So what is the secret, Colin, to assembling a cast to make an amazing movie?
Assembling the cat. So
The right cast.
yes, a lot of times you have to be open-minded, and I'll give you an example. A lot of times you don't really see it at first, and when I was going through the casting audition, I did not. My main actress wasn't the one that stood out to me. So just a little backstory. When you go through a casting audition, I don't know if you ever attended one, but you have in this situation it was recorded. So you after the audition, you get a chance to go back home or whenever you have a time, you can rewatch the footage of the actor, the talent performing. And my wife is the one that actually, encouraged me to give my, which her name is Inga Ice. She's from South Africa. Give her, she's like, I like this girl. So I can't, take 100% credit for selecting the cast, because sometimes initially the person that gets the role is not the one you were looking at.
What do you wish you knew before you started making this movie?
Wish I knew. Well, I'll tell you
one
thing.
Let me fine tune that. What is one thing you wish you knew then that you know now? One thing.
One thing. Always be prepared, even if you think the other people you're dealing with know. I would say don't leave it up to chance or think the other actors or people that within your team knows what is expected. So, for instance, like you can have a audition, you can have meetings. Always make sure that, especially because a director is like the manager on set. You are responsible for making sure that everything goes according to plan or how it should be run. Mm-hmm. So every day you should go on set with that same mindset. You go on set thinking, okay, this is the plan for today. Get everybody ready in line. Make sure everything is okay. Don't leave it up to others to make sure that everything goes right.
Let me go to the chat room. M said, congratulations. Please ask if he plans to bring the film to Guyana and if there are any plans to one day to collaborate with other Guyanese filmmakers.
Okay, so I'm in talks through efforts currently being developed. And I actually put my sister in charge. She's dealing with all the coordination, but there is a plan to do a showing in Guyana. Hopefully within the next year. Also, I want my next film. I have a few ideas for my next project. I actually want a major part of the film to actually be filmed in Guyana. It's kind of sad because as beautiful as a country Guyana is, a lot of people outside of Guyana do not know of like the Kaitro Fall and stuff. A lot of people don't know about the beauty, and there's a lot more things to see in Guyana. So I believe once you get to a certain point or a certain level of success, it's time for you to use whatever leverage you have to kind of showcase whatever, the beauty of where you come from. And actually in this film, this film is not Guyana-centric. It's just an action thriller. However, I made certain references. I actually used the word Guyana, referring to it in the film. Unfortunately, in film business, sometimes you have to cut scenes. One of the scenes with a reference to Guyana, I had to cut, which was heartbreaking. But I do have plans moving forward in future projects to actually spend a substantial amount of time.
What sort of feedback are you getting about Haima?
So far, I've gotten a lot of great feedback. Nothing negative so far, but what I did in the whole process is I surrounded myself during the filming and the production and stuff with people who are very
Competent.
straightforward and honest. So I got certain very constructive criticism. So a lot of the stuff I fixed and tweaked. But keep in mind, this is not a film for everybody. I knew this when I wrote it. Uh, just the style of film. And so there's people out there that's not gonna be. There's people not gonna like it. There's certain films I don't like. However, from a cinematic point of view and from the work and the accomplishment, I think it's a major success, and hopefully people can see it for that. And another major accomplishment was the cost to make this film. A film like this usually costs over 100,000. I did it for under 10. So that in itself is an accomplishment.
Congratulations. Let me go to the chat room again, Colin. M asked, what was most challenging, writing, directing, producing, or sound?
For me, I believe because like the production part, the casting was the greatest part because this is the first time you actually hear other the actors, even if selected or not, you finally hear the words coming to life. So that kind of ignites you. The production part, even though it's tough, excuse me, that wasn't it's not as difficult as, for me at least, as you would think. The part that really drained me was the editing because it dragged out for so long, and plus you're isolated. When you're filming, you have actors giving inputs. There's a team. So once you get to that point where you're editing, now you're alone and you're looking at this, and sometimes you get discouraged. The song don't sound right, and the scene doesn't sound right. You have to figure out how to fix it. So what I did, people who I trusted, I sometimes I would bring somebody and have them look at it. So I would say the editing part, the song part I love because sometimes for me, I knew it was weird because I didn't know exactly what song I wanted for certain scenes, but I know what I didn't want. So it's like I know what I want, but I haven't heard it yet. So when you heard a song, I was like, okay, this would go in this scene.
So tell us about your business, Global Impact Empire Entertainment, and why you started it.
So that is a business that I started when I was in the military. It's been dissolved so far. So in the military, I started that company, and it was an umbrella company for pretty much all the stuff I was doing. I was doing wedding photography. I was doing videography, and I was pretty busy with it because of the location I lived. When I moved to Florida, I actually decided all the stuff that I've learned over the years. I didn't want to start over the production company. So what I did, I started teaching. I started a school, actually of higher learning, called Prince of Prestige Academy, which I run with under that name until last year, in 2015. It was renamed and restructured, rebranded as Central Florida Institute of Technology.
All right. So let me ask you this, Colin.
Yes.
What did you learn about yourself after completing this film?
I learned that the main thing I took away is that challenge is just a challenge. It's just a hurdle. And as high as that mountain seems, you just got to keep chopping away at it. And you have to set attainable goals, and you just have to keep working towards it. Because
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Colin.
Yes, you have to set attainable goals and just keep working towards it. And eventually, you're gonna. And there's stuff. If you set realistic goals, there's times when you're gonna try and you're gonna be beaten down, and not everything is gonna work out. Sometimes you have to walk away from it, and that in itself, you have to look at that as a win. You were conscious enough to recognize that your efforts is it's going to be a failure, but that doesn't mean that you can't learn from it. I've learned stuff from failures that I wouldn't even learn in a university, because I actually stepped out there and did it, and now I have that experience. So when I go into different ventures, I can take with me. So not because something is a failure or a project is a failure, that does not mean that you cannot take away valuable life lessons from.
Okay. So I have some questions I really want to ask you. I'm going into the chat room. Ray Harris said, Colin, do you remember the days back in Guyana when we used to get clips of films from the cinema, and you used to put together little makeshift movies for us?
Yeah, yeah. So actually, I forgot about that until recently.
I forgot about that.
For the premiere. So what I did, I made so let me give you a quick background. So when I was around, I think it was 13, my 13th birthday, when I grew up, I was always getting in trouble because I would tear like my mom's or my dad's stereo apart. I was always interested in electronics and technology. So I would always tear this stuff apart. And I remember when my mom came to the US for my birthday, she sent me a basic electronics book. And, I read it, learned pretty much all the stuff. I remember when I probably around 14, I was interning with an engineer in Guyana. So that's how much I had an interest. The reason why I told you that, I was always making stuff and figuring out stuff. So I made a little box. I took a bunch of cardboard box and enclosed it. And I took a magnifying glass and I put a light bulb, and I figured out the proper proximity to put the film. So what I would do, we had in Melanie Damishan, there was a movie theater. So I would go around the back and find all the damaged film reels, and I would cut them together and take Scotch tape or nail polish, and I would tape it together. And I would invite our neighbors, and I would run, a lot of times it didn't even make any sequence. I would just run through the film, and I had my own little movie. So you might see a cowboy and some movie scenes in one film. But people enjoyed it, but at least I thought
that was good. The process started a long time ago, and you never give up.
But thank you, Ray, for reminding me of that. So I guess the film stuff started a long time ago before.
What do you enjoy most about filmmaking?
Pardon me?
What do you enjoy most about filmmaking?
I like being out on set, the production aspect. I like being out on set filming and shooting and working with the actors and stuff and getting impact, just the relationship and the camaraderie and talking to the other actors. Because I've met some really great actors, and a lot of great actors that you should be looking out for, like Anthony Belovsov he's from Russia. He actually played in 999. It was a major film, came out early this year. And Inga Ice, very strong actress. Should be looking out for her. And Ken Luzeder. So I've met some very promising actors that you've probably seen some major films in the future.
In the chat room, Cloyette said you were a filmmaker from a very young age. So Colin.
Yes.
Is there a particular idea for a film that thinking about Guyana evokes in you?
Yes.
All right, I'm not gonna ask you to reveal your idea.
I'm not gonna reveal details, but what I would like to do is I would like to, and I've been playing with this idea. I would like to make a film that is based or surrounding or has a foundation on old Guyanese folk tales that is just isolated to, to Guyana. We have a lot of folk tales that is not even in the other Caribbean nations. So, but I have to figure out a creative way of incorporating it into something that is make it universal. I'm very strategic in not making films that is. I would like to make films that is more universal, but still add elements of our culture that we have a more universal market. That way, somebody.
Old Haig is a twist on vampire. So.
Yes, they have a oh like Baku and Moon Gazer and all sorts of stuff. So
you have a whole pool of things to choose from.
yeah.
But let me
The thing with filmmaking that you have to make sure that you do stuff taste with taste, and a lot of times, and speaking to a lot of filmmakers, you kind of understand this. You can't stay or you can't focus too much on the true aspect of what you remember. You have to introduce aspects of let's say for instance you might know a couple and they're off the wall. Whatever characteristics they have, you can say, okay, I want to make a movie about this particular couple. One of the pitfalls in filmmaking, and this is not just me experiencing, this kind of came down from experience of more experienced director, or is that you cannot just take their life story and try to put it on screen exactly as it is. You kind of have to present it to the audience in a way that is going to be entertaining to them. So that's my struggle right now is, okay, I have to take these folk tales of what I'm used to or used to hearing and present it in a way that it's universal to, let's say, American audience. Because yeah, I can easily make a film for Guyana audience.
Mm-hmm. Colin, time has run out on us.
Okay.
And I hate when this happens, but I have a few more questions I want to ask you. If you can answer them as quickly as possible.
Okay.
What advice would you like to give a young aspiring filmmaker?
Okay. I would like to tell them to understand upfront what is it you're trying to accomplish. Let's say, for instance, you want to make short films, feature films. Understand what it's going to take for you to make it. Now, are you trying to produce it yourself? That's a different question. If that's the case, now you have to develop your craft. Are you going to go to film school or are you going to spend the years learning yourself? All this stuff is attainable. Just know what you want to do up front. Make a game plan. Okay, I'm going to learn this. And if you can reach out to me. I can make my information available. I can recommend books and stuff you can read. Or you can attend my film school and you can learn some of the trades. Central Florida Institute of Technology, or you can go to Out of Film School. I've recommended Out of Film schools to students if I don't feel that what I'm teaching is in line with what they want to accomplish.
What are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of. In general, I'm most proud of the stuff my family has accomplished. I'm proud of what me and my wife and my kid has accomplished. I have a daughter's doing great things. I'm proud of what my sister has accomplished and what she's doing for Guyana, and I'm proud of what my siblings are doing. So yeah, I have a lot to be proud and appreciative.
When are you most happy?
Pardon me?
When are you most happy?
I think I'm happy when I am doing what I want to do. And that's usually that's not something not a problem for me. I usually go after whatever I want to do, whatever dreams, or even if I have an inkling that I want to try something, I go after it, and that makes me happy. Even if it fails, at least I try.
If you could go back in time, what would you tell that 15-year-old boy?
This might seem like a cliche. I do not have a lot of regrets. So I would tell the 15-year guy, just whatever you're thinking right now, just keep going ahead and do that. I don't have a lot of regrets because every stumble I take as a life experience.
All right, so the last question for the evening, Colin.
Yes.
What makes you laugh out loud?
I laugh out loud. I'm very weird with goofy comedy. So like the stuff that a lot of people wouldn't laugh at, that's me. And I think it might have to do with my upbringing because I came from a silly household and when we get together it's crazy. We just laugh all the time. So I like really goofy comedy, like Coming to America and some of the stuff that people really don't find amusing. I do.
When was the last time you had a good, hearty, don't bother me laugh?
I would have to say recently when my family came down for usually I get those laughs when I get together with my brother or sister because it takes you back to Guyana and all the little silly things you're acting real stupidly. That's how we get. When we get together, we go back in time and we talk about the same little silly things we did when we were kids.
Colin, thank you, and good luck with this film. I'm
Thank
very
you.
proud of you as a Guyanese. I'm proud of you as a young man. And then you're my good friend, younger brother. So congratulations.
And thank you for what you're doing.
You're welcome, Colin.
Okay. Have a good night, and thanks for everyone who tuned in.
Good night. And this is Selwyn Collins saying, fear not what fear whispers to you. Fear your obedience to it. Good night.